Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NWA Power Results and Review video here today for November 5th, 2019. This show is pretty decent overall. One thing that I do like going on here in storylines within NWA that they're doing is Tim Storm and Nick Aldis. There was a segment within the show that was very interesting, though it was a little bit weird. They had a match in the very first episode of NWA Power where if Tim Storm lost this match, it'd be his last opportunity to ever get a shot at the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. He ends up losing to Nick Aldis in a very fair and straight match. No outside interference, very clean, nothing bad. He then goes on to where he has nothing else going for him at this point. They kind of talk about, well, there's other titles within the NWA, such as the National Heavyweight Championship and the Tag Team titles. He goes on to say, well, all the titles in the NWA mean something. But if really what they should have had him say, but they didn't really have him say, but I kind of understand where they were kind of going with this, is that if you can't capture the NWA World Championship, then you have no purpose within this company anymore. And to be honest with you, it makes perfect sense. At this point, based on all this, the normal thing that they would do is just say he needs to retire. Nick Aldis pulls him to the side. He goes on to tell him that, look, I'm not trying to tell you what to say, but don't say anything that will get you in any kind of, make you, have to live up to those words. Which I guess he was trying to say, don't say that you're going to retire, type of thing. But he says, this place means a lot. You and I have built this place. That's why this place exists now. The NWA Power studio is what he's referring to. And this is your home. You belong here. You don't deserve to retire or anything else. My thing to make this better and make more sense of it is where Nick Aldis says, look, he comes out next week, says, look, I've talked to Billy Corgan, and him and I worked out something. Since I am the world champion, I made that stipulation with you. I like the fact that you've lived up to your word, and you deserve to have an opportunity for the world title whenever I lose the NWA World Championship. So basically what that means is he can't get another opportunity as long as Nick Aldis is the NWA World Champion, since he's beat him on 2 separate occasions to stay the World Champion, and beat him once also, he beat him once also to get the World Championship to begin with. So I think that is where they need to go with this to make sense of it, to even keep Tim Storm on television for NWA Power. But I like the fact that Nick Aldis isn't portraying this so-called champion prick, which I think is very nice. They're showing a lot of respect to a veteran such as Tim Storm. I don't know much about Tim Storm, but I know the fact is that this guy has been wrestling for a long time based on what they've given the history of this guy. And he won the NWA World Championship. So that means something, especially within this company. So with all that being said, I think that what they're doing here is cool, but they need to make some kind of sense of it before it becomes nonsensical. It's kind of stupid for Tim Storm to be on television and performing still, but won't ever be able to get a World Championship opportunity. So to me, it kind of doesn't make any sense unless they change the ruling on the stipulation that occurred, because Nick Aldis felt the need to do that so that he could give Tim Storm an opportunity and a reason to still stay within NWA, which could lead to a heel turn with Tim Storm later on in the future, costing Nick Aldis the World Heavyweight Championship. That would be a very good little angle they could do here if they go with what I'm talking about. So if they do that, I give them nothing but praise on that idea. Not because it was my idea, but because of the fact that from what I'm saying, it does make sense. What they're doing right now, it leads to something that's good, but where's the purpose? Right now, Tim Storm looks like he has no purpose to be on the show anymore because he has no way to get to the World Championship at any point in time of his career, while he's still wrestling anyway. So that's just my point there. So let's go ahead and start off with the very first match on the card. It was the Dawsons versus Matthew Mims and Jordan Kingsley. This matchup was a squash match pretty much. Not very much offense by Matthew Mims and Kingsley in this matchup whatsoever. So they were basically enhancement talent trying to put over the Dawsons. They end up winning the matchup. They go to the broadcast table and they talk about how they're excited to be number one contenders for the tag team titles, so on and so forth. The Eddie Kingston and Homicide from the Outlaws Incorporated come out and they kind of express that, hey, you know, we got screwed. It was a no disqualification match, so kudos to you guys. You did pick up a victory and so forth. You want your World Tag Team titles? Well, we deserve one too. We didn't get a fair shake at the World Tag Team titles. So let's make it a number one contenders match. Now, this was a little awkward to me because they already made a number one contenders match last week. Now they're trying to reinstate that number one contendership again. Dawson's tell Eddie Kingston and Homicide that they'll think about it. And then the announcer, not the announcer, but the interviewer, a reporter, forgot his name, he goes ahead and he says, well, you guys got nothing to lose if you have this match. Yes, you do have something to lose. You lose your number one contendership. So they go back and think about it. Later on in the show, they become the main event instead of the national championship, which this matchup was okay, but I'll go into that in a little bit. The next match after that was Thunder Rosa defeating Ashley Vox. This match was very interesting. I like Thunder Rosa. She has this Bray Wyatt type of character to her. She's not a split personality, but she's very similar in the sense of a Bray Wyatt Fiend type gimmick. She brings out the worst in people, which later on Marty Bell turns on Allison Kay, the women's world champion, later on in the show because Thunder Rosa. I think they have some sort of gimmick with Thunder Rosa where she can possess people and turn them evil or something. That's just my guess. I don't know if that's 100% fact of what I'm saying here, but that's just me guessing on this. So that's just my personal opinion on that. Thunder Rosa wins her match against Ashley Vox in a decent, okay women's matchup. Nothing major happened here, though. So kudos to her in her debut matchup. Ricky Starks faced Aaron Stevens later on in the show, or earlier on in the show, I should say. He was interviewed by their lead announcer, and he asks well, not the lead announcer, the guy that interviewed the Dawsons. He goes ahead and he asks Aaron Stevens to voice his opinion, I guess, on his loss and about how he wants to revenge that loss with a match that he's going to go to NWA officials and talk about. He doesn't know what kind of traditional matchup he's going to do, but you'll see once they have the match. Well, the match occurs. Aaron Stevens and Rick Starks have a match in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup. The match ends with the first fall ends with an immediate roll-up pin, schoolboy pin, by Ricky Starks, gets the 1-2-3, and Aaron Stevens, formerly known as Damian Sandow from WWE, looked absolutely horrendous. This company, NWA, is just doing as bad of a job to Aaron Stevens as WWE did to Damian Sandow's character. This guy is losing non-stop. Then, does he get even a win out of this? Like loses 2-1? No. He loses a second go-round because he's interacting with the crowd and talking with them while he's taking a bow, and then all of a sudden, he gets rolled up again by Ricky Starks, and he ends up losing the second fall and loses the match altogether. Pretty fucking stupid. Match was alright. I really don't care for that match whatsoever. I think Aaron Stevens' gimmick is a complete failure. It is as bad as anything that they could have done with The Miz with his gimmick. WWE's done a far superior job with that kind of Hollywood-type wrestler gimmick than what NWA is doing with Aaron Stevens. Aaron Stevens is just... he's fucking trash. I do not care for this guy whatsoever. Then we have the NWA National Championship match. James Storm, the world champion of the National World Champion, going up against Colt Cabana in a one-on-one match. This was a title change, folks. Colt Cabana defeated James Storm by distraction on the outside because of Eli Drake and Mr. Anderson. Yes, I said it that way because I just wanted to be goofy. Since Ken Anderson says it that way. So he was slightly distracted. He was about to hit the last call super kick to the face to Colt Cabana, but unfortunately was distracted by Eli Drake and Mr. Anderson. And then Camille from Nick Aldis shows up out of nowhere and actually strikes Eli Drake. And then has a stare down with Ken Anderson. That's what distracts James Storm. And James Storm gets a weirded out pinfall that was performed by Colt Cabana last week. And he gets the 1-2-3. And that's pretty much it. The overall matchup was a very decent and good, entertaining main event match. Even though it wasn't technically the main event. My eyes, it was. But immediately afterwards was an impromptu #1 contenders match for the NWA Tag Team Championships. The Dawsons come out and say they accept their challenge, but they're not waiting till next week. They're doing it tonight. We're getting it done and over with. They face Eddie Kingston and Homicide, and Eddie Kingston and Homicide defeat the Dawsons to become the #1 contenders officially for the NWA Tag Team Championships. The Wild Card team, which are the Tag Team Champions, did have their nose thrown into this matchup, trying to interfere and cause Eddie Kingston and Homicide the win, but unfortunately, to no awry, the Outlaw Incorporated managed to overcome and win this matchup and defeat the Dawsons to become officially the new #1 contenders for the tag team titles. And that was pretty much it, guys. That's the overall show. I thought it was a pretty decent one, especially like Tim Storm's little storyline they're doing with him. I think it's very unique and out-of-the-box kind of thing. A lot of stuff that they do here is somewhat out of the box. Nothing is like rinse and repeat type stuff. So, I mean, you do see some differences in comparison to other wrestling companies, but they're pretty okay. I hope at some point they move out of the studio type thing and move into like a bigger venue to perform in front of a bigger audience. So that's just my overall opinion, though. Leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you like this video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great night, guys. Bye.